Now join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, can I get a motion to approve minutes from April 15, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
And April 29, 2025. There is a motion, properly second. Discussion. I hear no. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Marmol, noted as absent. Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Luzon, Councilor LaPlante,
Yes.
Councilor Levy,
Present.
Council Vice President Infante,
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
I vote yes. We're gonna, first of all, ask everybody to excuse the council for the construction going on. And we're gonna pursue with the public participation. Public participation rules are as follow. Please, you're gonna have 2.5 minutes to speak. At the 2-minute mark, you're gonna have a beep or sounds that indicate that you still have 30 seconds to speak. At the 2.5 minutes, your time is up. Please refer to the council as a whole, not to any individual councilors. The first person that we have on the list is H. Malley. Name and address for the record, please.
53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We, the citizens, welcome the new Chief of the Police, Honorable Chief Boris Aguilar, to the Chief of the Police of Lawrence Police. Lawrence Police, this union of pride and honor, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. We are supporting Lawrence Police Union, Seniors Officers Union. As a citizen for 4 years in this great city, I testify this is the best DPW team and leadership. Thank you for making Lawrence a beautiful city. Lawrence Inspection Department, thank you for excellent job. We support your union. We must hire more inspector. Lawrence Public School with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Ralph Guerrero, the best superintendent in the history of Lawrence Public School moving forward. Lawrence teachers, thank you for excellent job. Thank you for doing best sacrifice for improvement of Lawrence Public School. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. We are proud to support our veterans. Thank you for ultimate courage. Thank you for standing for land of free, home of brave. We must hire 2 vacant positions to Veterans Department. We must create the best elder commission for our city. Laurentian are #1 champion of the support of union right. We pray for the safety of all police officers and first responder. We support Lawrence Police Union. We the citizen very much saddened one of our beloved councillor has to leave. We the citizen are united. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for passion, for making Lawrence a better city. We love you. We stand united to support you.
Thank you. The next person that we have on the list is Rich Russell, Councilor Russell.
Good evening, councilors. I'm Rich Russell, 34 Cross Street. Will you please finally put the police chief selection to bed so we can start this fiasco all over again with the fire chief? It's a shame that the council's ancestors 10 or 15 years ago bowed down to several mayors' wishes, no, demands, to remove those positions from the civil service selection process, but it is what it is. I don't know about you and others that may be politically connected, but there are several positions in the city government where professionalism is more important than politics. Another position, in my humble opinion, that warrants professionalism is the position of CAFO, which I guess the search will commence after the fire chief's search concludes. Quite frankly, I would like to see the selection for all three of those positions to be put on hold until after the November municipal election is certified. Let the elected mayor, whoever it may be, decide who should get those jobs with no appearance of impropriety. Just because this speaker may have snow on his roof doesn't mean his attic is in a deep freeze about political chicanery. I have serious complaints about the nomination process for the upcoming election. The city makes another attempt, this election makes another attempt on my part to help the city by getting on the council. In my previous attempts, part of the nomination process packet was a gift that was given was a CD-ROM. We don't get that anymore. We get an email account. We get an email file. Microsoft. I don't do Bill Gates. I don't do Microsoft. It's a pain in the ass, quite frankly, to try to convert Microsoft to open office. And I was told that the city got new computers that do not have CD writers. Do these computers have a USB port? Then a CD writer could be attached. Why would it make sense to have just one computer to produce these CD-ROMs? Last, the most important agenda item of the year, 16525, the FY26 budget will be introduced tonight. Any bets on the over-under on the number of employees and the salary in the mayor's office will be? I'm taking the over on 9 employees and the over on $1 million in salary. As always, I thank you for the time to express my concerns.
Thank you. The next person that we have is Brenda Rosing. Name and address for the record, please.
Brenda Rossi, 127 Chester Street. This is going to be really short and sweet. We've been without a qualified police chief for far too long. Please confirm Captain Aguilar as our new police chief. Thank you.
The next person that we have is Mike Samar.
Good evening. My name is Mike Samar, 90 Lowell Street. I am here on behalf of the superior officers of the Lawrence Police Department, local NEPBA number 145. I'm just here to simply state that it's been a long 2 years since we've had a permanent chief, and this department is waiting for that to happen. We appreciate the mayor's nominee, Captain Maurice Aguilar, a very honored member of our department who's very worthy of the position. And we pledge our full support to Captain Aguilar as our next chief, and we pledge our continued support to the citizens of Lawrence. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that we have is James Russo. James Russo, sorry. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Councilors. James Razzo, 90 Lowell Street. A couple months ago, I stood here before you and brought to the attention because my concerns surrounding the status of the police chief search. As you're all aware, I expect to be based on representations, to be part of that search committee because I wanted to ensure a fair and transparent process. When I was told I was not part of that committee, I was worried. Worried that perhaps the most qualified person might not actually be chosen. I wasn't part of the process. I obviously don't know who else was considered, what their qualifications were, but I am here on behalf of not only myself, but the Superior Officers Union to let you know that we are fully support of Captain Maurice Aguilar being our next police chief. I have worked with Captain Aguilar for numerous years, various capacities. He's gained the respect of not only fellow officers, other departments and community. I can attest personally and professionally, Captain Aguilar is a hardworking, honest member of community. He is also a licensed attorney, a good standing with the Massachusetts Bar Association. After the past few years, police reform changed policing, and I was assigned to the accreditation manager. Past 2 years, I've had an uphill battle. Captain Aguilar, during those 2 years, has consistently been someone who has supported the department's need for accreditation, has assisted whenever I asked him to help. He understood my roadblocks in the path to agency certification. All our neighboring communities are certified, accredited. Methuen, North Andover, Andover, and we are not accredited because of lack of leadership, permanent leadership. Accreditation shows transparency within, outside the department, shows accountability for everybody's actions. This should not be a hard process to get to. This is the gold star of policing, striving for excellence. Accreditation is so important in today's day and age, and while Lawrence Police Department has some work to do, with Captain Aguilar as chief, I'm confident that we can accomplish this in short order by the end of 2025. If Captain Aguilar was made chief 2 years ago, it's my belief, we would be working on reaccreditation. We would have policy and procedures, we would have accountability. Further, Captain Aguilar has a proven track record in handling some of our more complicated current police department issues, such as grant writing, body cameras, dealing with vagrancy issues. He has experience in handling these issues as chief and would have the authority and tools to handle these important issues in a timely manner. He has already established open lines of communications with stakeholders and will listen to anyone that has suggestions regarding community and police services. On this note, I believe anyone that wants a voice heard will be given the opportunity by Captain Aguilar to explain any concerns, get proper feedback, which would include setting up in-person meetings and timely responses to emails.
All these things are going to be submitted for the record, and right away we go into committee reports. Unless there is anybody from the mayor's office to the budget. Is anybody from the mayor's office that would like to introduce the budget? So, 10 minutes here. So, we go into communications from mayor, city officials, and city attorney. The first item on there is that item 16424. No, 16225. Wait. Okay, sorry. 16424, the 24. Yeah, 25. This is the fiscal year 2026 municipal budget. If we would like to get an introduction of the budget.
Good evening, Council President, councilors, good evening. We can finally say that we have finalized a draft of the budget for the approval of the City Council. There's a memo and a statement from the mayor in regards to the new budget that is going to be presented to you. Despite the fact that there's a balanced budget, I would like you, during the process of reviewing the budget, to consider the fact that there are there were complex decisions that had to be made in regards to the budget this year because of obviously federal policy decisions as well as the state in terms of budget cuts. So we have done a comprehensive analysis of it. We hope that now we won't have any additional cuts that will come from, let's say, from the federal government to the state that would affect us. One of the issues that we looked at was recently there was a decision to cut from the Department of Health in regards to the inspectional services, which was affected, and of which 5 employees will not be funded this year, but we have proposed 2 additional positions, which was previously funded by a grant for your consideration. Further than that, during the Budget Committee, we'll go more extensively into the details. And I was informed after the conversation with you today, Council President, I've spoken with our acting CAFO, and she said that she would be in correspondence with you to determine the date for that.
All right. Thank you. With that said, item 16425, the fiscal year 2026 for municipal budget, will be sent to the Budget and Finance Committee. Now going on top of that, we're now going to the committee report, and we're going to start right away with Budget and Finance Committee. Madam Vice President, the Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, Stephanie Infante.
Thank you, Council President. Through you, the first item under the Budget and Finance Committee is item 154-25, the authorization to expend $50,000 for the Mosaic Municipal Matching Grant, and it was sent up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, properly second, discussion on the item. I hear none. At this point, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes? Yes. Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Sorry, Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
He's noted as yes. Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Continue with the Budget and Finance Committee, item 15525.
Item 155-25, report and presentation on the Creating a Thriving Lawrence program was sent up as a committee report, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table to accept this as a committee report. Properly second, discussion.
Discussion.
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee decided to send this up as a committee report because we received a very informative presentation from our financial manager, and I would like for the rest of the council to hear or to learn about this presentation and the amazing things that are happening within our communities with our partnering organizations.
All right, we have received that presentation at the Budget and Finance Committee, and now we're going to have a potential summary of the presentation. Susan Finn, you have the floor.
Good evening, councilors. Well, I'm having some technical difficulties. Yes. Okay. Through the Creating a Thriving Lawrence program, 35 projects were funded to 33 nonprofit organizations. You voted to fund $4,445,000. Spent to date as of April 21st, we have spent $2,514,555.55. There's $84,306.25 in pending payments, leaving us a balance of $1.8 million. So I'm going to go quickly through each of the organizations and give you a brief synopsis of what they did. Cambiando el Mundo de Personas con Discapacidad works with families with children that have an IEP. They train parents to become advocates for special education, and over 150 parents have graduated and become strong community leaders. Ateneo Dominicano de Nueva Inglaterra presents the Bohemian Sunset Program, which is a weekly cultural event that showcases music, dance, and art for 12 weeks each summer, and over 300 people attend the event each week. Instituto Cultural de Puerto Rico presents the Bomba y Plena Festival that celebrates traditional Bomba y Plena music performed by distinguished artists, and over 500 people attended the 2024 festival. The International Book Fair brings together adults, children, writers, artists, and professors at various events, such as the Children's Fair held at the Lawrence Public Library and the Youth Fair held at Lawrence High. Almost 1,200 participants in the 2024 attended the 2024 festival, and the 2025 festival is dedicated to Chile. Hispanic Image Smart Women's Biz Hub supports local Latina businesswomen through monthly networking breakfasts, conferences, and a gala where awards were given out for impactful community leaders. Sharing Hope provides healing through art program that fosters creativity, builds confidence, enhances skills, and provides therapeutic benefits to over 100 families, and backpacks filled with school supplies were also provided to the participants. Straight Ahead Ministries works with youth and young adults involved in the corrections system. 35 participants graduated with woodworking skills, 21 received a diploma or a high set, and 116 DYS youth received mentoring and peer support. Elevated Thought expanded the I Am Art, I Am Change apprenticeship program where 60 youth participated and were paid a stipend to participate in 4 tracks: photo and video, visual art, creative writing, and social justice that enable them to visualize creative careers, and participate in public art projects, clothing and workshop facilitation. Youth were also exposed to galleries such as the Leica, MoMA, and the Addison. Beyond Soccer served 1,209 youth in year-round soccer, the Lawrence Youth Soccer, In-City League, and Winter Futsal. 83 youth had paid jobs as junior coaches and coach mentors. 481 participated in the summer enrichment day camps. 46 received after-school tutoring and college support. 96 participated in Beyond Resilient Girls, and 85 students at the Arlington and Gilmet schools participated in the in-school soccer and wellness program. Groundwork Lawrence expanded the Meals That Heal community-style cooking classes where participants learn to prepare healthy meals that incorporate fruits and vegetables. 3 sessions of classes were held with a total of 50 participants. The Essex Arts Center hosts Fiesta en la Calle, a free block party that features live music performance, dancing, art activities, and a community-based art exhibition. Over 2,000 people attend each July. Nectar Community Investments, formerly Mill City Community Investments, or MCCI, received funds to provide financing capital to Lawrence small business owners to expand their enterprises and build wealth. Some of this funding was intended to support business owners to purchase and own their own commercial space. 2 businesses assisted were Kirby 30, a gym catering to a female clientele, and Sweet Grace Heavenly Cakes, which was destroyed by a fire in 2023. Sweet Grace rebuilt the bakery and added 4 residential units above their property. GLCAC's Healthy Homes program is dedicated to creating safe and healthy living environments for families in Lawrence. The Early Learning Division clients were offered solutions for childproofing hazards, maintaining a clean environment, and promoting a safer environment. In 2024, 139 families were provided supplies such as fire extinguishers, first aid kits, carbon monoxide detectors, etc., and connected to other resources and programs. And to date, in 2025, 87 families were supported the same way. Lazarus House Ministries used the funds to provide meals at the soup kitchen, provide groceries at the food pantry, support emergency shelter bed nights, and the Capernaum Place transitional housing bed nights. Bread and Roses Heritage Festival is a free festival each year on Labor Day and honors the 1912 Bread and Roses strike and promotes social justice, worker rights, and immigrant stories. Features music, art, education, local vendors, and family activities. And attendance is estimated at 2,000 people. In 2024, the logo that represented the theme of literacy and democracy was created by a 14-year-old Lawrence student. And in partnership with the library, there was a story walking campaign on Common, allowing visitors to engage with literature in an interactive outdoor setting. The Feast of the Three Saints, another Labor Day weekend festival. In 2023, they celebrated their 100th anniversary, and funds were used to help defray the cost of police and fire details, which ultimately provided comfort to all who attended. This funding allowed the society to free up capital to be used for scholarships and charitable giving to nonprofits. Top Notch Scholars is a youth leadership organization, and almost 1,200 youth lives were impacted by various academies, keynote speeches, scholarships, and mentoring sessions. Top Notch Water is a product of the Entrepreneurship Academy, and students increased the number of clients from 5 to 15 and learned skills required for a successful company. And in the Healthcare Academy, students were allowed to explore careers in the healthcare industry with partners such as the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, Lawrence General, and AFC Urgent Care. And they have a waiting list of over 88 students on it, and they're looking for more partners. The Lawrence Adult Learning Center used funds to expand access to the citizenship process for low-income residents, providing educational outreach, high-quality citizenship and ESOL instruction, one-on-one tutoring, legal assistance, and voucher support for the N400 application. Citizenship forums were held, more than 200 hours of mock interviews were held, and financial assistance was provided to 20 students. 70 students became citizens, 11 are awaiting their naturalization interview, and over 100 students are enrolled in the ESOL citizenship classes. The Greater Lawrence Community and Boating Program supports the Recreation Department by hosting 250 children every Monday and Wednesday, including lunch and membership 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They also provide full summer camp activities for 507 students a day, including lunch program, arts and crafts, gym and games, science, field trips, puzzles and staging, and water safety education. And 1,820 free scholarships were given, and they have been supporting Lawrence families for 46 years. Sueños Basketball provides after-school sports programming for 260 youth ages 7 to 18 at 3 sites, has 11 teams competing in the AAU circuit, and 30 youth attended 2 basketball camps in Spain in the summer of 2024. They also provide academic tutoring, a reading program, assist with private and school choice enrollment, college and career readiness, and have workshops on substance use, mental health, and youth development. The leadership development included year-round and summer youth jobs, coaching training for older students, athletes, and youth tobacco prevention movement to raise awareness about the dangers of tobacco and vaping among youth in the community. Serving Stars is the first and only tennis program in Lawrence, 31 participants in the after-school program and 250 in the summer program. Funds help provide transportation to and from the program, provided fitness tracking devices. There was assistance with applications for summer programs. There were trips to Brooks School and Harvard University, and a high school mentor program. The Lawrence Sports Alliance used the grant to support the launch and continued partnership effort of championing her game that introduces hundreds of Lawrence girls to free quality sports experiences for a full week each February. Since COVID, there's been a sharp decline in girls' sports participation at Lawrence High School. There's over a 50% drop in basketball, softball, track and field hockey folded entirely, and the freshman and JV teams are unable to fill rosters in multiple sports, and they want to reverse this trend. 16 different sports activities were sponsored with over 1,000 participants over the 2 years. Over 30 partners contributed over 1,000 items of sports equipment and gear given out to the youth. Funding also helps support sports-based youth development training with partner Center for Healing and Justice Through Sports. Olive in July held citizenship classes and ESOL classes. In FY24, 64 of the 74 students became citizens, and in FY25, 68 out of the 76 participants became citizens. There are currently 20 participants in the citizenship classes, 18 in the English classes, and 106 on their waiting list. Lawtown Boxing Gym works to keep individuals active and away from the streets. They work on the physical and mental well-being of their members. They recently added a Women's Night Wednesday to promote the gym and increase female membership. They have created a connection with the Lawrence Police Department, and officers work out at the gym and create a connection with the youth. And they plan to have discussions weekly on opioids, gangs, violence, and the consequences that follow. Semana Hispana was first held in September of 1979 and aims to showcase the rich traditions of various Latin American countries through music, food, and dance. During the event, the countries are able to share their food and traditions. And the grand festival, Semana Hispana, is held on the Campagnon Common for 2 days and attracts many families to the festival. The Downtown Lawrence Association maintained 18 planters on Essex Street during the summer and holiday season. They coordinated the installation of 80,000 LED holiday lights on Essex Street and 40 poles with holiday garlands and bows. They collaborated with Elevated Thought on the design and production of Welcome to Lawrence mural in an Essex Street alley. They worked and helped launch the See Lawrence marketing campaign. And they collaborate in part with Mass Development's TDI district to install banners on Essex Street with branding messages. The Joey Fournier Services is dedicated to violence prevention, education, and support and public awareness. Second Step teaches children to change the very attitudes and behaviors that contribute to violence and drug abuse. The after-school enrichment program uses enrichment activities in art, music, and drama to reinforce the same drug and violence prevention, pro-social skills of empathy, impulse control, and problem solving and anger management. 50 children participated, and each participant spent 3 days in after-school classes for an hour and a half each day. The New England Art and Cultural Center provided art lessons in various mediums, modeling classes, and music lessons where students are learning to read music and play guitar and piano. Nuestro Cosme Beauty Certificate Program is an initiative that was to certify 5 men or women looking to acquire their cosmetology license to work as beauticians in Lawrence, and this included manicure and pedicure certifications as well. The number of students jumped from 5 to 9, and right now 8 are awaiting their licensing exam. Family Services of the Merrimack Valley used the funds to support the mental health clinic, where in FY24, over 300 individuals were provided with more than 5,000 hours of therapy. Funds were also used to support renovations to their building, which provided improved client experiences, accessibility enhancements, energy efficiencies, and safety and security measurements. The Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence received funding for 2 different programs. The first is Planning for the Future, which helps middle schoolers and high schoolers determine their next steps. 65 middle schoolers and 115 high schoolers participated. They were provided guidance on admission to colleges, trade school, and prep school. And this included visits, application, and financial aid, and they held a college fair and a career fair. The second program was a music program. In a study of 100,000 students, music students scored higher in science, math, and English, so music is very important. 70 members have one-on-one weekly music lessons in guitar, bass, piano, drum, digital production, singing, and ukulele. And 85 members play instruments during free time more than once a week. They have solo performances, group performances, and open mic performances. Greater Lawrence Family Health Center was able to improve health outcomes through the purchase of equipment that supported expanding service capacity and elevate the quality of healthcare services, expand and improve prenatal and pediatric care, disease management, and screening services. Lawrence Partnership used their funds to support the Revolving Test Kitchen, whose mission is to provide a low-barrier entry point for food entrepreneurs into the food industry, to incubate and responsibly grow local food businesses, creating sustainable businesses, employment, and contributing taxes to local community. There are currently 17 active local food entrepreneurs working out of the Revolving Test Kitchen. Some graduates that have moved on into their own brick-and-mortar establishments are 3 Garcias, Coco Ray's, Farine Bakery, Jesse's Place, Planted Donuts, Urban Farm, and Wings on Wheels. Funds were also used to support operations, including the support of the Know Your City program, which has held 10 sessions designed to educate residents about the inner workings of the local government. And finally, the Lawrence Theater Festival provided cultural enrichment by highlighting local and global theatrical talent, encouraging the appreciation of diverse stories and traditions, and revives classical works and promotes contemporary plays. There are community engagement and educational opportunities such as workshops for acting, writing, and directing, and student matinees with talkbacks with the artists. I tried to do that fast.
Yes,
Thank
Council
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Council President, I would like to take a moment before, the same way we did during the Budget Committee, the Budget and Finance Committee, to thank staff for the wonderful work that they have done. It has been done, not without glitches, but we did overall, because I say that because I believe that, I mean, if I may recall that during our first presentation, when you as a city council or those that were there at that time, you had your concerns whether staff was able to manage the amount of, you know, the millions, over $1 million in grant funding to the community, but they have done a good job with it. And I would like you to, just the same that we did during the Budget and Finance Committee, to mention some of the challenges that we have before the questions that maybe you may have for us or for the audience.
So what I would say is lessons learned from this experience. I would probably suggest that we do a workshop. If we do a program like this again, do a workshop like we do with the CDBG subgrantees, is to bring everybody together at the beginning of the program and sort of give them a training on what we're expecting out of them, how we want their invoices to come in, what type of paperwork we're looking for, what type of reporting is needed. I think that would have cut down on some of the back and forth that we've had to do with some of the organizations. And the organizations have really done a great job. Anytime I've asked them to provide additional information, they've been very responsive. We have had a few organizations that have asked for some budget amendments, moving money from one line item to another, which was a relatively easy process. I think that maybe it might have been better to bring on maybe even another part-time person to help with this, because this was honestly a lot of work. It was 35 contracts, reviewing invoices. Some of the agencies just put in for one payment, some did two, some have done 6 or 8. And it's a lot of work going over those invoices, making sure everything lines up, making sure it's in line with the budget that's in their contract, making adjustments if we have to do that. So I think that perhaps it was a little ambitious of us, but we got through it. Couldn't have done it without Kate and Marisol Colon, who's not here tonight, but she was a big help to me in reviewing invoices. Yeah, I think that's what I would say. And just I mentioned to my nonprofits that are here, if you didn't sign the sign-in sheet, be sure you sign the clipboard that's out in the lobby before you leave to make sure you get credit for being here.
All right, thank you all for actually putting the presentation together. The reporting portion of it, it was some of the requirement that the City Council imposed while we were discussing this $4.4 million out of the ARPA funds, so sequentially the free cash. So having this information in front of us, definitely appreciate it, and all the work that you guys have done. So thank you.
Council President, lastly, we would like to thank our partners for their patience. I know it was not an easy process. Tonight it's made easy to you, but it's not, especially when it came to reporting and for them to provide the information. But we are satisfied with all our partners, and it shows that we are a strong community. Despite our differences, despite our lack of resources, but all our partners have been true friends to our community. And therefore, I would like to request you to join me in giving them a round of applause. Thank you.
So, well, again, thank you. Most of the organizations, if not all, are here today. In case that anybody have questions as to what they do, what they were doing, or what type of service they provide to the community, they're going to be available later on while they're getting out. So this is a great opportunity to network with our partners. The City of Lawrence is here today, so thank you.
Council President,
Councilor Luzon?
I have a question, Council President, if I may.
Sure.
Once again, I would like to congratulate Kay, Marisol, and Sue Fink, as always, for her leadership, and the administration for putting this grant together. But I do have a question in regards to the $400 that is that part of that package? 400,000? Thank you, Council President. $400,000. Thank you, Council President. That was voted for Federación Hispana de Comerciantes. Was voted by this council and is part of this package. And I understand that the Executive Director, Sara Perez, has been working closely with Director, getting her name.
Pimentel.
Wilda Pimentel, And I would like to hear from Sue, from the manager of finance, Sue Fink, if she's aware of this conversation, where is this money, and what is the Federation should be expecting a next step on this amount of money?
So I have not been involved in any conversations between Director Pimentel and Federacion's executive director, so I really can't speak on that.
So Abuela's
Just,
online.
may I?
Abuela's online. Chachi's on the Zoom.
Oh, good.
Do you want to ask?
Answer?
Yeah, I mean, Abuela Pimentel, Director Pimentel, do you have any answer to the question that was just asked by Councilor Luzon?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, City Council. Yes, we actually had reached out and spoke with Executive Director Perez, although after the conversations, we have been instructed that there is currently a spending freeze, and we're waiting and pending further guidance. And if the senior advisor's there, he might be able to make a comment on that. But at this point, it has been paused due to the spending freeze.
Do you have any, I wasn't able to hear correct, it was very low, the volume.
Yes, Council President, I'm going to repeat the same thing I mentioned during the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. Based on the recommendations of our acting CAFO in terms of suggesting a spending freeze, we have, the mayor have decided to not to spend those funds and to return it back to the not to use it, not to expend those funds, and that would be part of the general funds.
Essentially, for that to happen, since the council already allocated those funds to Drive Lawrence, that need to come back to the city council and
Yes.
reallocate it back. I mean, we can look into the process as to how that's supposed to happen, but I mean, it's not just another vote need to happen. I mean, that's I don't know for sure. The process-wise, we can discuss that later.
Yes, and that will come before you, but I would like the, during the discussion of the Budget and Finance Committee, when our operating budget is presented to you, to have those discussions, and you can ask our CAFO, I will be there, or a member of the mayor's office would be here to explain that.
Council
Councilor
President, if I
Luzon?
may, last week, senior advisor mentioned that the funds were frozen, that due to the federal government, there was some issues there. So from last week to today, I'm getting a totally different answer, senior advisor.
No, it's consistent. I haven't gone into details, but I did present to you early on that based on our comprehensive assessment of the operating, fiscal year 2026 budget, does it make any sense for us to spend money knowing that the federal government, at the federal level as well as state level, there's cuts? So we're trying to save as much money as we can. We're not going to overspend money, and at least those are the recommendations. So tonight, I mentioned that based on very briefly, but when we would have these discussions during the budget presentation, you will have more clarity. So in other words, we're not going to spend money if we don't have it. We're not spending money if we know that we are going to have challenges in the future.
But you mentioned, through you, Council President, thank you, Council President, you mentioned returning. So this is, it's still confusing, and I hope that in the next meeting, you can bring more clarity to this. But you just mentioned returning. And on the other, in the previous meeting, you mentioned frozen. So for the Federación Hispana de Comerciantes, you're not giving them an answer. It's not clear what is the plan. So is the money here? Are you returning the money? It looks like that the administration is not willing to comply with the money that we as a council allocated to Federación Hispana de Comerciantes, Senior Advisor.
I think you're mistaken, and I do that respectfully. Remember, or to refresh your memory, there was a reimbursement requirement. At that time, the Federación was not able to comply with that requirement. And in order, just like the council president mentioned, this needs to come before you. But it would not come before you unless we will have our acting CAFO before you and to explain how we decided, or basically are making the recommendation to you to not to expend that money.
To you, Council President, thank you. I think you are confused. I think you need to go back and check the minutes because the council approved the funds. It was sent back, the mayor's office, it was sent back to the mayor's office, and it came back again to the city council. And it was not a reimbursement. It was approved as a loan to the members of the Federación Hispana of Commerce, Federación Hispana de Comerciantes. So it will be in the benefit of the community, so we can bring clarity to this, and especially to the members of Federación Hispana of Comerciantes, because you're giving a totally different narrative. We all respect Senior Advisor. So hopefully, in the next meeting, we can bring be in one page, in the same page, to avoid any future confusion.
I remember, Council President, through you, I think the city attorney at that time gave an extensive explanation to the city council, but not to further discuss this, I think we can have the opportunity during the Budget and Finance Committee, as you said, to give you more clarification.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Senior Advisor.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, if there is any other questions, we definitely appreciate.
Right here.
Oh, you have a question, Councilor LaPlante.
A couple of comments and a question. I just want to recognize someone in the audience tonight who is an applicant. Representative Donna Fournier Como is here, and we typically recognize officials or ex-officials who are in attendance. So I just want to acknowledge Representative and thank you for being here and for all the work that she's done with her organization. That's the first thing. Second thing is, one of the big pockets of money was for the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority. Is that a separate item, or is that okay? Third, there's four things. Third item is the balance on the sheet of money out of the 4.4. There's 1.8 approximately $1 million of balance left. Is there a deadline for those monies to be spent?
June 30th.
Of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And the last question or comment is, there's an old biblical bromide, if you will, that says that if you give a man a fish, he eats for a meal. You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Using that metaphor, if you will, with the money that we spent, the approximately $4.4 million that we spent, do you foresee any seed money being spent that's going to produce not just a one-time situation? There's some here that I can see that are going to be one time, and that's going to be it. I get it. But I'm hopeful that when we spend these kinds of monies to prop and to provide certain stimulus and catalyst of monies to our nonprofit sector, that will translate and perhaps provide, like I said, a stimulus or a catalyst to find something that's going to continue beyond this year. Perhaps an unfair question, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you aware of any organizations that you can highlight that says to you or says to us as government leaders, yes, I really see promise with this one organization and what they're doing with respect to having something be a bit more than just a 1 year?
I would have to say that I can't pinpoint one off the top of my head, but I would say that the experience that they have had being like subrecipients of the city has taught them the skills that they need to apply for other grants and to be able to meet grant requirements, meet deadlines, meet reporting requirements. So I think we've sort of trained them in some small way to do what you're hoping that they're going to be doing, is seeking other funding sources and be successful with those funds.
Thank you, Council President. Through you to the audience and the people that are here on behalf of their organization. We do not have time tonight, I don't think, to go through and ask that question to each organization. However, my information is on the website. I'm easy to find. If your organization, through you, Council President, has something that you want to highlight that answers that question, that says, yes, we did something, and yes, I think this is going to produce something much bigger and greater in the years forward, I would like to hear that. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Plan. Well, if there is no other questions, we're going to proceed with the agenda. Councilors, at
Thank you,
this point,
councilors.
thank you.
Thank you. Council, I would like to make a motion to withdraw item 155-25.
There is a motion to withdraw item 155-25. Can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second. Before we withdraw, we have an underlying motion, which is a motion to accept this item as a committee report. I'll adopt, at this point, I'll call the question to accept it as a committee report, subsequently do the withdrawal. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
This is a roll call vote on the accepting the committee report. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Mamo is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Now I entertain a motion to withdraw.
Motion to withdraw?
Can I hear a second?
Second.
Properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Mamo is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Thank you, everybody that was here for this item. Now, councilors, I would like to entertain. Huh? Who? Who have it open? Look at the smell, yeah. Councilors, at this point, I would like to entertain a motion to untable item 16325. The confirmation of Maurice Aguilar, nominee
moved.
for Chief of Police. It is a motion to untable the item, properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. No, wait, one more minute. That way they can leave.
Councilor Levy on the roll call for the untabling?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Mamo is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Before we send this item to committee, I would like to read for the record an explanation of section 3.7 of the Lawrence City Charter and a memo from the City Attorney. Madam Clerk, do you mind reading the memo from the City Attorney?
No.
Can we get the door closed, please?
This is a memo that.
Let's be a little louder.
This is a memo that the council received from Attorney Timothy Hooton on May 2nd, and it reads, "It has been brought to my attention that we are not in compliance with the City of Lawrence Charter, Provision 3.7, appointments of two city offices regarding the other night's meeting. Section A of 3.7 provides, the City Council shall refer all such candidates to the Standing Committee on Personnel and Administration, which shall investigate all such candidates for confirmation and make a report with recommendations to the full City Council no less than 7 nor more than 21 days following such referral. Although this matter was referred to personnel and then returned, no investigation and referral was made. The word shall is an important word as it implies a requirement. I suggest that this item be untabled and referred to the committee at the next meeting, understanding that the 30-day clock is running. If no vote is taken by the full council before the 30 days after filing, it passes automatically." And it's signed Timothy P. Hooton.
All right, with that said, I'm gonna be sending this item to committee, to the personnel committee specifically. And subsequently, at the end of the meeting, the personnel committee will set up appropriate date for the interview and investigation. Thank you, everybody that was here representation of this item. So let's go back to the Budget and Finance Committee. Madam Vice President Infante and the Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. The next item we have is item 156-25, appropriation transfer in the amount of $5,000 from Business and Economic Development in-state travel to office supplies was sent up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion on the matters. I hear no. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Now, item 157-25.
Item 157-25, appropriation transfer in the amount of $5,200 from Business and Economic Development in-state travel to other purchased services was sent up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table. There is a motion. Can I hear a second? Properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Item 159-25.
Item 159-25, authorization to expend $25,000 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of the Attorney General for the Nicky Jam Music and Art Center design agreement was sent up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table. Properly second discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
Thanks. So, I don't have a problem with this, a grant. I just remember taking the vote on this, and one of the things that we talked about when the vote came for the naming was that there was a likelihood, possibility, there was discussion, maybe that's the best way, of the person who we're naming after being even more engaged in our city, perhaps so engaged that he might be able to contribute some money to help refurbish that building for the purposes that we all want. Is there any updates on that, either discussions or progress, if any, on that? Can anybody speak to that? Did that come up during the budget
There
committee?
is Councilor LaPlante. Can you
Okay.
speak a little louder on the mic, please?
Sorry, Councilor, I think it's the fan that it's,
Sure.
Actually, I
Were you
can
able to
answer.
hear what I
Yes,
I
no.
asked? Okay, thank you.
no, can you repeat it?
Sure, I'll truncate it.
Yes.
there was talk when we did the naming that there'd be some contributions made by the organization that or the individual that we named the building after, and I don't know what has come from that conversation. Is there an update? Is there any support that we're seeing from?
Well,
from those
through you, Council President, the update that I can provide is that obviously there were certain understandings in terms of that progress needed to be made in order to report back to the potential donor. That's what we're working on right now. So we are looking at funds to expend some of these funds to, first you receive a rendering, but now is the actual design of the facility. Once that is done, there's a couple of other steps that we need to take. We contemplated to hire a consultant to work with us. Number one, to identify the grants that could be used for the property, fundraising strategies, but there was a delay. So I'll be very candid with you. There was a delay for several reasons that I can relate and report to the City Council, but it's ongoing. So after the approval of this item, if you so please, then we will move forward with the design of the facility, the rehab.
That's the update. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Yeah.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Item 16025, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 160-25, authorization to expend in the amount of $17,500 towards the Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant Program for turnout gear, which is round 2 of funding for the fiscal year 2025, was sent up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Now, thank you, Madam Vice President Infante. Now we're going to communications, item 16225, the status update from Groundwork Lawrence on the Nuncio de Marca Park. With that, I would like to call Councilor Levy. She would like to speak on behalf of this project, and subsequently, the representative from Groundwork Lawrence. They have a quick presentation on the matter. So, Councilor Levy. Brad.
Did you connect it?
I haven't connected it yet.
Brad.
Okay. We got it.
All right, just let's allow Councilor Levy to say a few words before you guys give us an update.
Thank you, Council President. Okay. So good evening. My name is Ana Levy, Lawrence City Council at Large, and it is a pleasure to introduce you to what will soon be Nuncio de Marca Park. It has been a long process since 11/18/2022. But with many meetings and with the support with the Mayor De Peña administration, his staff, community development, DPW, and so many others like Lawrence Groundwork, the Lawrence Community Works, especially Congress Usman, Lori Trahan, who has been the person who brought the money for the realization of this project. It has been a joint effort where everyone has put their all into making the best place for families and their children. This project was created primarily for the Lawrence community and his family in mind. As one of the Nuncio children said, we want our Father to be an example for everyone, regarding their race, religion, sex, and wherever they come from. Now, and also he said, all for Lawrence. That's his big sign or award when he ran for mayor. He said, all for Lawrence. So I want to thank you also, you all, members of the City Council, for the approval of this project when we were asking for the name to be, or the park to be named Lawrence City Council. Without the support, your support, this never can be happen. Thank you so much. And now I would like also to call Mr. Brad from Lawrence Community Work, who's gonna do a presentation or a PowerPoint on what is going to be the future park Nuncio de Marca here in the city of Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Levy. Thank you for all the work that you have done on this project. Now the representation from Groundwork Lawrence. Keep it a little short.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia Rosa. I'm a project manager with Lawrence Community Works, and we're working in partnership with Groundwork Lawrence. And we're here, we have the pleasure to present the proposed park improvements, recreational amenities, and walking pathways to the Nuncio de Marca Park.
Park was created in 2013. We're excited it has a name, Nuncio de Marca Park, but it wasn't done until we figured out what was going to happen next to the site on Island Street. We engaged a lot of children. I don't, for some reason, I've lost the connection to the presentation. Oh, Gregory. What are you doing, Gregory? Anyway, I'll just keep going. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I can. Yeah, it's all right. Again, lots of kids helped build this space. It's very special, and we're excited to add these additions to it. I'm really excited that LCW has named it after Armin Michael Hyatt. He is a man who means a lot to me, and he has done a lot to the community. Oh, sorry. Going a little bit fast. For some reason, you can't see my... Yeah. It's okay. This project will include the creation of a new playground and renovation of the Nuncio de Marca Park, including the addition of a splash pad and a cool City of Lawrence sign at the top of the mound. And you can't see it, but this is the before. This is the after. Yeah, we'll just keep going. I know your time is short. So the splash pad has these cool lights that come out, and then the playground, it has lots of seating and space for the littles, and then finally we'll have a sign. City of Lawrence Park sign there. Thank you. That's it.
So we're going to have a nice signs on top, a spray park, and a couple of other things.
And a really cool playground. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. We are going to distribute the presentation for the record in case anybody tries to see that. They can get access to it. We're going to be submitting the presentation through the city clerk's office, so anybody that would like to see it, it's going to be part of the public record. All right, the presentation is gone already. So thank you so much, Groundwork, for putting this together. And please, do you mind sending it to us by email, so we can have a better picture of it?
The city clerk.
Thank you. The city clerk will forward to us. Thank you so much. Now we are with Councilor Levy.
So now the Brad is still here, can I call our table? Item 6422.
Second.
Out of the table matters, you would like to untable item 6422?
Or
On the old business?
grade
Yes.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor Lutton?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario? Yes. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Council Marwell is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Council Vice President?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
But yes. Do you have a presentation?
I do.
Okay, let's have somebody from the IT department to help you out to make sure that the presentation get reflected on the TV.
Council President,
Yes, Councilor Rosario.
now I was just making sure that you guys could hear me because I couldn't hear the clerk and I didn't vote on the pass item.
Yeah, we have a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're trying to fix it in a minute.
Thank you.
Okay.
So,
Carlos is gonna take the control.
Okay. So in the meantime, just give us an update of what's going on with the item, and,
Sure,
and then we're
okay.
gonna go
I
to the
think
presentation.
as many city councilors know, is this my?
It's good?
This is my desktop.
So that's your desktop right there.
All right, perfect. As the city council knows, the Lawrence Hydroelectric project is up for relicensing with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. There are 2 meetings this week where the owners will present the initial findings of their study plan, one of which pertains to the canals and the historic works. And I will make sure that their report is provided to the clerk so that she can see it. But as you can see from this diagram.
Brad, can you speak to the mic a little more?
A little louder?
Yeah, please.
Of course. There are significant issues with the integrity of the North Canal walls. And then the report that they just submitted shows that the South Canal Gatehouse and the North Canal Gatehouse are inoperable. Another issue with the project is flooding upstream from the dam and erosion at the Greater Lawrence Boating Program. The flood impacts in the Lower Tahoe neighborhood include the Boys and Girls Club, 2 steel salvage yards that could flood, the city's primary grocery store, Greater Lawrence Family Health Center. So significant assets potentially at risk as our climate changes. We're expecting more wintertime flooding in this area of the city. It's important that the city pays attention to this project. It's the one time in the next 35 years we will be able to determine the benefits to the community associated with the impact of the project. Additionally, we're working with the project owner on accessing project lands, development of a shared use path along the south bank of the Merrimack. They have instituted roadblock after roadblock to achieve this community goal that's been present since 2005. This is a close-up look. It's really important because it connects to the Lawrence Rail Trail and then takes you all the way down to the Shawshene River. We're also working with them above the dam to create an off-street connection from Riverfront State Park to Broadway and the rail trail beyond. We hope to continue working with them on this, but without the full force of the city to support these efforts, it's going to be hard for a community-based org to carry the load.
So, in another word, they are going to have a 2 days meeting coming up, and you are asking and suggesting to us and to the community to get all involved.
Yes,
to be able to push forward the community needs.
Right, right.
councilors, any questions in regard to this matter? It is definitely a complicated matter. It is a relicensing that it haven't been done in the last 50 years. And there is responsibilities that need to be well-defined within the project limits and the scope of the work to ensure that the city of Lawrence is basically getting the best out of that, the whole relicensing, to ensure that we don't carry the potential issues that we were not responsible for from the get-go, right?
That is correct.
Council President.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yeah, it wasn't this council, it was the previous council, but the previous council actually spoke on this matter and spoke with a strong voice, as I choke, in support of making sure that the footprint of the relicensing included the canals. And that was a force that we actually had several, you may recall, several times when we met here and on that. So it's really important, as you would say, Councilor, it's important to note that that this is our opportunity to deal with water power. This is our opportunity to deal with wildlife in that area. Flooding to a lesser extent, but still an issue. But this is an opportunity, but beyond that, it talks about the aesthetics, the appearance, what makes Lawrence our city with the canals and the ties in with our industrial base back over 100 years ago. And so, while many of us, me included, are relatively recent immigrants to our families are since post-industrial times of this, of the canals, we need to remember that that history remains important today, and that we should do all that we can. So I would ask Mr. Busher through you, as we go through this process, we need someone with the kind of experience and expertise that you have, Mr. Busher, to say, this is the time, council, input. This is the time, say something, write a letter, take a vote. We need that kind of strategy, because right now I can't see where that is, but maybe with your connections, et cetera, that would be helpful so we know where to press the buttons and then do the work that the council president was talking about, the community and the council and the city collectively. Because I think the mayor's on board too. This is an issue that I think the administration and this council are in agreement on. Let's take that and let's work on that. We are in agreement across the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor LaPlante. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I will definitely lean in and let you guys know when.
Thank you. And it's important to recognize that Groundwork Lawrence has been always helping us as of what is going on with that licensing that has been happening through the federal government for the canal and the water rights. So thank you, Groundwork, for always keeping us updated with this issue and many other issues around the community. Thank you. With that said, I'll.
Thank you, Ralph.
There is a motion to table. Can I hear a second?
Second.
Properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Motion carries. Let's go on top of the agenda. Let's go to personal. Let's go to the committee report. Let's go to personal. Okay. So we have people here for personals. All right.
We also have somebody here from
All
Ordinance
right. Let's
Committee.
go to ordinance. That's not a problem. Item 31024.
Council President, I like to go out of order. We do have somebody here, and they've been very patient. I'd like to take document the Ordinance Committee report for 14325, 3-on-3 basketball tournament scholarship fundraiser at Nina Scarrito Park and Courts at 49 Brook Street from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. This was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to approve. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion.
And I also, the applicant may want to speak, but I also want to report back that was pending, of course, getting the proper signage, and it is open for those 2 days, so we do have the paperwork.
All right, great, awesome. Let's allow the applicants to give us an update or a little bit of information about the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that day, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Just name and address for the record.
Elvis Cabral, 41 Berkeley Street. So that day we have a 3-on-3 tournament, which is to get funding for a scholarships that we've been giving out for quite a few years under Armin Hyatt's name, actually, who started the scholarship for us. Which is cool because he's getting the apartments made and he has a scholarship under his name in our program. And it's also part of our block party that we celebrate every year, and we celebrate it for a long time, and we activate that side of the community. We activate the Splash Park, we activate Scarrito Park for a 3-on-3 tournament, which is the request that was sent up. And it's just, we get over 500 members of the community to participate there. We have a lot of volunteers. We have other nonprofits participate. Last year we had 13, now we're expecting to have 20. Matter of fact, a lot of the programs in that presentation we had earlier are gonna be having tables in that event to participate and be part of the community as well. So it's just activating a part of Lawrence that doesn't get activated much, and just sharing with the neighbors from that community, and obviously getting some funds so we could keep on giving these scholarships to our amazing members of our program.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
I might visit you guys.
Please, you're all invited. June 7th, you're all invited. Please be there.
Thank you. All right, councilors. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this event? I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Councilor LaPlante, what's the next item?
Same date, same event. Please, I'm excited.
Council President, Ordinance Committee sent up document number 14425, La Fiesta del Barrio Spray Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. June 7th. Sent to the full council with favorable recommendation to make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. I hear none. It's gonna be a continuation of the same event as previously. There's two events together, so thank you for doing that. At this time, I'll call the question. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes? Yes. Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Let's go top of the agenda, item 31024 from the Ordinance Committee.
Yeah, we have one more, I think. Ms. Chalice is here as well, so we'll deal with that one.
What item?
14225.
Yeah, next time just let me know the item as you wanna take it, and so
Yeah.
we can proceed.
You got it.
145?
14225, and then I'll
142.
do, I think Angelo's here, so I think I'll do 14625 after. So 14225, this is city employee disclosure of a conflict of interest for Joelle Chalice. Send it up to the full council. As a committee report, make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. I hear none. You have a question?
I would like to call him.
Discussion.
Okay, discussion, okay.
Sec.
Let's go in order. Councilor, what was the first one? Councilor Luzon? Councilor Santiago?
Yes, if he's here, I would like to call
Is for this
Hi,
conflict
how
of
are you?
interest.
Yes.
Joely Chala,
Thank you for coming.
thank you.
You explain the discussion?
Yes, so I'm a school counselor for the Lawrence Public School District. I also have my private practice for mental health provider, and I applied for a contract that the police department is promoting. So I just want to make sure that we clarify that my role with the police department do not interfere with the Lawrence Public School.
Thank you for
So just to.
Got it? Just to be clear, so you work as a counselor for the
school
school,
counselor.
for the school, the
Department.
Lawrence Public School.
Exactly.
And you apply for a
contract with
RFP.
a mental health workshop through the police department.
Yeah, okay. So it's two different entities, but with the city.
It's two different entities, two different roles, because one, I'm a school counselor, and the other one, I'm just gonna be providing the workshop. And I just wanna make sure that doesn't overlap, since I'm gonna be getting two different paychecks from the
Yep.
city.
Definitely. Councilors, any
Council
questions?
President.
Huh? Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I would just like to hear from the chair of the committee why this was sent up as a committee report.
It's a disclosure. They're just giving us information to disclose. It's not, we're not looking on it favorably or unfavorably. It's just a committee report to say, yes, we have received it. Yes, you've given us notice. That's why it's a committee report.
Thank you.
Now, thank you. And now we are going to call the questions to accept this as a committee report. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes? Yes. Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President?
I vote yes. Now I entertain a motion.
Motion to withdraw.
We have a motion to accept. It's a disclosure. We accept it. It need to be approved by us.
They're giving us notice. What?
We just approve it, yeah.
That's fine. It's sure. So you want to make a motion to approve? It was a non-controversial, which is the matter, just letting us know. They didn't let us know, but if that's helpful, doesn't make a difference to me. I'll make a motion to approve this document 142.
All right, there's a motion to approve, properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes? Yes. Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Go on top of the agenda.
We have Mr. Nunez here. If we could just do that last one. Document number
You need to give me those
14625. Another city employee disclosure of a conflict for Angelo Nunez was sent up to the full council as a committee report. I will make a motion afterwards to approve, but that's the motion, committee report.
There is a motion on the table in front of us, properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes? Yes. Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
Vote yes.
Make a motion that we accept or approve the 14625.
All right, motion to approve, properly second. Discussion.
Discussion,
Councilor Santiago? Okay, just explain to us as of how this is a conflict of interest, potential.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Angelo Nunez. I live on 170 Commons Street. I believe that, I'm not sure if this is considered a conflict of interest. I believe this is a disclosure, just informing the council that I am doing minutes for various boards, those boards being the Bellevue Cemetery, the Lawrence Municipal Airport Commission, and the Lawrence Commission on Disability, and that my role as an employee for the city of Lawrence, specifically the mayor's office, does not interfere, or these responsibilities do not clash in any way.
Thank you. Any other questions? I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
This is on the
Motion to accept.
motion to accept, I'm sorry. Councilor Reyes? Yes. Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Thank you, Angelo.
Thank you, councilors. Have a good night.
Let's go on top of the agenda with the Ordinance Committee, so we can finish with the Ordinance Committee and proceed. Item 31024.
This is for Saratoga Street, a one-way. Was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing, properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal? I'm noted as absent, I'm losing it. Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Item 13425.
This is the ordinance committee set this up with the full council to order a public hearing for relocation of one SO pole on Amesbury Street. Make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing. Can I hear a second? Properly second discussion. Here none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes? Yes. Counselor Levy? Yes. I'm really not, I apologize. Counselor Reyes, thank you. Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy? Yes. Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
Vote yes. Item 13525.
This is to relocate two JO poles on Amesbury Street. Was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and that's the motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing. Properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Reyes? Yes. Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Item 14125.
This is for 333 Lawrence Street, 15-minute parking from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. Make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing. Properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes? Yes. Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy? Yes. Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Item 14525.
This is a Crafts for Alzheimer's Howard's Place on April 28th, which has come and gone. This ordinance committee met with a motion to withdraw. That's the motion.
There's a motion to withdraw. Properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor Del Rosario? His mic is muted. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Thank you. Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Item 15025.
The removal of a handicap parking spot at 264 Ames Street was sent up to the full council with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
The motion is to order a public hearing. Properly second discussion. I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes? Yes. Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counsel President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Now let's go to Personnel Committee. Madam Vice President Infante, you asked me to take item 3825 out of order.
Item 38-25, the confirmation to appoint Pamela Gonell as the Assistant Commissioner of Health and Code Services was sent up to the full council as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, and discussion.
Discussion.
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Councilors, during the Personnel Committee meeting, there was a discussion about academic credentials, which we all received and have in front of us. There is also it was a mistake on my behalf that I forgot to send, but I just sent to you, I forwarded the letter from the Ethics Commission. Oh, it's in the package. It is. Okay, it is in the package. Okay, so you guys do have that. And I also, but in the email to you, I don't know if it's included or not, but I did have our city attorney review that to ensure that I was understanding the lengthy email and the suggestion that was given to Ms. Gonell, and we were on the same page as that. So from our end, everything is clear, and we sent her her confirmation up as a favorable recommendation because she did provide everything that we asked for. Thank you.
Question? This position is to confirm, the position is Assist Commissioner of Health, and I would like to ask maybe Carol Garcia or Inspectional Service can ask me. The question that I have, if that position is assistant, who is the commissioner?
I'm sorry, say again?
That position is to appoint assistant commissioner.
Yes.
And who is the commissioner?
Well, the building commissioner is Peter Blanchett, which is a total different position. So she'd be the commissioner of health and safety, basically.
Okay.
So essentially, there is several commissioner on the department.
So as most of you know, the inspectional services has three main divisions. We have the building division. We also have the health and safety division with the health code and food inspectors. And then we have the licensing division for the alcohol and all the other licenses. And then we also have the clerks. So, so this position right now, as you know, in most leadership classes, the span of control is 5 to 7 people that you can manage effectively. So this position right now is going to help me assist with the health code inspectors and also the food inspectors, which she has the experience with the food type inspections and stuff like that.
So the question that Councilor Santiago have asked is that if the position is if this position is an assistant, who is the main commissioner of that department that she's going to assist?
So I would be the director of inspectional services. Then Peter is the next in command, and then she would be number 3.
Councilor Santiago. Still confused, but I mean, that's fine.
It is confused because if the position is for assistant, I don't have any problem with the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
The question is for the position.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure, because when you have assistant, it's because you got the boss.
Mm-hmm.
The position, it is required assistant because you got the main position.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's why it's confused.
Yeah. So that position, the way I would have never named it that I would have never gave it that name, but that's the name that whoever brought it to the front of the council previously, that's the name that they gave. It should have been like assistant, assistant director. That's the.
They are named like position.
Yeah.
Like opening position.
Say again?
This position is opening position.
Open?
To do another position, it's like to build another position.
Well, that's a position that's part of the inspectional services department. So as a director, I can't do everything. I can't be, one person. I can't do everything. So I need someone to oversee the health code division, and also I need somebody to oversee the food division. The food division, we have over 500 food establishments that need to be inspected twice a year. And also we have all the illegal dumping. We have, so I need somebody to manage that. I can't manage that daily. We do now, but I mean, we do the best we can. But like I said, in leadership, the span of control to manage people is 5 to 7 people effectively.
Okay. The confusion comes because it's for assistant, but I know you can, how you are the director, you can do it, but you can do the your department, you can manage your department.
Exactly, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes, but the confusion is for the name, the position.
Yeah, I don't like the name either. That's the name they gave it, so. But she's doing the job right now. So she's been doing it for the last 6 months. She's doing an excellent job. The staff respect her. You know, I met her, I've been here for a year. I met her like a year ago. You know, she was doing a great job. When the position became available because someone left, even though she was only there probably 6, 7 months, I was the one that asked her if she would be interested in being, you know, the assistant for this position. At first she didn't want it, but I kind of talked her into it. And ever since she's been there for the last 5 months, she's been doing an excellent job. You can go and interview anybody you want, inspection of services, but you know, I think she's been doing a great job down there.
Okay. And I need to clarify. Last time when she was in personal committee,
Yes.
She came for interview. And
yes.
the interview has different parts. And one of the parts the interview has is question. You got presentation, you got question.
Yes, yes.
And I made some question to her, and the question that I made, it was because she was in medical college, and she was studying medicine, and she answered me some question that was wrong. And she confirmed in front of me and told me I was wrong. But that's why I required it, and I appreciate that she sent the document that we required.
Yeah.
And just to clarify it, I was not wrong. I got the paper and I was not wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Santiago.
President.
Hold on a second. I gotta have somebody else. Councilor Reyes. I mean, I know, I thought there was somebody before you guys, but I mean, Councilor Reyes?
Thank you, Councilor President. Thank you for clarification. You mentioned you are the director, the next person is Peter Blanchard, and the third person is Pamela. It's very clear. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Councilor Plan.
Yeah, thanks. So, through you, I think what's important here is we have, you provided for us, and thank you. You didn't need to do this. This is a confidential document from the Ethics Commission, between the Ethics Commission and you. You, I think, wisely chose to share this with us because potentially questions could arise down the road about a conflict of interest. I think it's important at this time to actually, was this discussed in the Personnel Committee? It was?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Then I don't need a long dissertation. I just need to know exactly what the potential conflict is, and then the summary of what the Ethics Commission said.
Before we get to that point, do you mind introducing yourself and to the council and to that community, and then right away jump into that question, please?
Of course. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pamela Gonell. I was a former chef and a chef consultant for several years with my husband, and we did restaurant consultation and business consultation for other businesses around here in New York, in Orlando, Florida, and Rhode Island, in Boston. So the conflict was that in my conflict that my husband do some work for other businesses around here and might affect the performance, the job that I was making. But it's not because I'm not the one that approve or require any accreditation for other businesses like that. Yeah.
I just got this document. I was sitting here today, and I didn't watch the Personnel Committee, so I'm reading this very quickly, skimming it, frankly. The one thing that I could not find on here, this makes me feel a lot better because you are suggesting to the Ethics Commission you can conduct your job in an impartial way, that it will not benefit you or your family. You will separate yourself from your husband's business. You've extrapolated yourselves, I think, legally as well, so that's not even an issue. But the other part of this that I don't see on here, and maybe this doesn't make a difference, but I don't know all the details and what the job entails. the one thing that I did not pick up, and maybe it's not that important, but I have to ask, when you're reviewing other businesses, right, not your husband's business now, other businesses, is there a potential of the way that you look at other businesses that could give your husband's business an unfair advantage? Could you possibly be harsher on other businesses? Could you go into that direction? I'm just thinking out loud as to a potential issue that could arise, and I just want to get your sense. Maybe that's not an issue. Maybe it's apples and oranges, and you're not going to be able to do that, and there's no way that your company, your husband's company, could profit from your overview of the other companies. You understand where I'm driving with this question? So I'll listen to your response. Thank you.
No, it's not, because my husband, what his job is he's a business consultant. He doesn't guide them to the licenses or permitted processes. They just train the staff. He create inventory. He designed the kitchen layout for the workflow. He help the business to create a business plan for the business, maybe for growing or developing, and it doesn't interfere with my job, with my current job.
Appreciate that.
Council President. Thank you. I just want to read an email that was sent, and again, my apologies, councilors, for forgetting to send this to you in a timely manner. But now you do have them in your inboxes. But I did have, like I mentioned earlier, the city attorney review the advice from the Ethics Commission, and I just want to state this for the record. He said, I am happy to speak about this, but it appears that filing a disclosure and abstaining from any decisions involving her husband's company, she is free to be appointed permanent. So how I'm taking it is, if a situation does come up where perhaps it might, overlap, you would have to abstain, and then the director would have to take over. And I'm sure that you have no problem doing that. But that was the snippet summary that I received from the city attorney when he reviewed the advice that you were given.
Okay.
Council President.
Councilor Rosario.
Thank you, through you. I would like to thank Pamela for taking this challenge. I say challenge because she was demolished on the previous interview, and she came back and provided everything that was asked for. But I want to encourage my colleagues to actually take a minute and work with Pamela, like I have done, so you can see how ethics she is and what kind of job she brings to the city. Those are the people that we need to hire, people like Pamela. They are so dedicated. They have the experience of what the position is bringing for. Before we judge them for any type of thing, we need to give them the opportunity ourselves. As a city councilors, we can demand from her anything that we need, and you can put her to prove that she's capable to do it. I had a conversation with her last week, and I was amazed of her knowledge and the patience that she has and everything that she has bringing in the past year or so to the city at that position, at that level. And that's why the director is actually recommending her to do this job. So I encourage my colleagues to give her the opportunity to be in this position, and also give yourself, councilors, colleagues, an opportunity to work with her in anything you need when it comes to that position, and you'll see how capable she is to do her job. Thank you, Pamela, and hopefully we can get you confirmed tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, now we are through with the Councilor Levy.
Thank you, Council President. I just only echo. So I already spoke with a couple of the people who work with Pamela. They are very comfortable with the work that she's been doing, that she's very great on whatever that she does right now, and very helpful. So everybody on her department or in your department is very okay with everything that you've been doing, and they thank you for everything that you do. So thank you. So I think so that she is an asset right now for the department.
Thank you.
Let me entertain Director Pimentel, that she's here willing to speak So before we continue with the second round of questioning from the councilors, Director Pimentel, this is your time.
Hi, thank you so much, Council President. I would just like to say I have gotten the opportunity to work very closely with Mrs. Gonell, and I will say that she is very competent, very caring, and extremely hardworking. And there's been many assignments that I have tried to initiate with her, and she has always been available, even, staying with me late to the evening at any time to discuss some of the projects. And I am just very, very honored to recommend her, and I hope you guys can all confirm her. She is extremely hardworking, and I hope she can continue to do this work for the city of Lawrence. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Council Vice President Infante.
Thank you. To add, the first time that Mrs. Gonell was in front of the Personnel Committee, she did pack the room with her colleagues. They did appear and support the department in support of her. And I want to say that I appreciated the fact that when I spoke about obtaining the Ethics Commission opinion, she was very understanding, and she understood that it was just, we want to make sure that we were covered on the city end, and she was more than willing to work with us, so I appreciate that. And we also did review her qualifications, and I agree with Director Pimentel. I said it that night, it was great, but I just wanted to make sure that you were okay on your end, and we were okay on our end, and you provided that, so thank you.
Yeah. All right, any other questions, councilors?
Council President, thank you, Council President, through you. Knowing that the hard work, the ethics of work we know that Pamela has, but I also want to ask about the challenges that you think you will face. I know that you're making changes and you have a lot of challenges, but can you mention one of the challenges that you see? And I'm speaking as a owner of a restaurant. What will be one of your challenges?
Yeah, streamline the process for the business owners to get the permitting, and how they know how they can proceed to obtain a permit to get a business in compliance. For example, when an entrepreneur wants to start a business, they have to go to the city clerks, then they have to go to community development to find the resources. When I think they can maybe go straight forward to one place and have everything in one document, like a package. And we have been working on that, creating one package for the entrepreneurs so they can start the process as soon as possible.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, and I think that could be great for the department, also for the business owners, the ones that own food places, because sometimes it's difficult, and we don't have the time. Basically, we spend half of the day here when it's time to renew permits. For some of us, for some, the portal is working perfectly. But we know that our community is not very good with technology. I just hope that communication continues to be open. And I know the inspectional department is doing the best that they can to have that line of communication open to the business owners. I just hope that continues. It's needed, especially for the new business owners that are coming into the city. Try to make this transaction more fast, more easier, and just take that into consideration. And I hope you get confirmed. And I know your first meeting was hectic, but just keep in mind that counselors were doing their job. They were asking questions, and you survived that, and you provided what is needed. So I wish you the best of luck. I know about your work ethics, and I know you're going to be a great access up to the city of Lawrence.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. This is a great opportunity to just mention that, as you were on their this process is because this process is established under our city charter, and the personnel committee need to interview and investigate. And that's part of exactly how it says it. So if the process were not as expected, this is a great opportunity to take it as an example and digest the situation that we just follow in the charter. All right?
Yeah.
Any other questions from the councilors? At this time, I will, the motion is to approve. I'll call the questions. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
I vote yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you. Now, top of the personnel committee, item 1022. Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 1022, appoint Modesto Maldonado to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority Board was sent up to withdraw, as a withdrawal, and I make that as a formal motion.
Is a motion to withdraw properly,
Second.
properly second this discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
Which open, is there there must be an opening there.
It was, I'm assuming that it was an opening, but I doubt it, to be honest with you.
Is this the controversy regarding the governor's appointment or not?
No, they have a government appointment. We asked that question before when it comes to the LRA, and then the administration said that if the governor doesn't appoint anybody, there is a process that they can send somebody, and they sent somebody back then, like 2 years ago.
It's not a governor, it's an opening, so all we need to know, and it wasn't a governor's opening, it was a regular opening. Okay, thank you.
Yep. At this time, I'll call the question. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon. Yes. Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
I vote yes. Item the motion carries. Item 39323.
Item 39323, Police Chief Position Search Committee and Update was sent up to the full council as a withdrawal, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion to withdraw, properly second. Discussion. I hear no. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal. Noted as absent. I'm so sorry. Councilor Reyes. It's a long night. Council Vice President.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
Now we're going to all business. At this time, I need to recruit myself due to the fact that it's a potential conflict of interest for item 15825.
Item 158-25, authorization to expend $519,000 towards the 40R initiative funds from DHLC MassDOT road projects for 2025-2026. We are here with Director McCarthy. This was in front of the Budget and Finance Committee. However, with the Council President needing to recuse himself last week, I did not have a quorum. And you were there so graciously. So now we are here to discuss this item. Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you all. I'm Daniel McCarthy, Planning Director for the City of Lawrence at 360 Merrimack Street.
Hold on just 1 second, sorry. I need a
the vote.
motion to pull this out of committee. Motion has been made by Councilor Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. We do need 6 votes to pull this out of committee. And we're missing
Five.
one.
You got 6.
We need
1,
5,
2,
3,
4,
4, 5.
I've got Councilor Del Rosario and Councilor Luzon blocking it back in.
Okay, okay. Discussion on this matter? As I mentioned earlier, I didn't have quorum for this. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
I'm going to start with Councilor Reyes. Yes. Councilor Mahmoud is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon. This is to pull the document from committee.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President.
Yes.
So that's 7
What
votes.
is the motion?
You got 7 votes. You need
All right,
six.
7 votes, motion carries. Director McCarthy, now you have the
Okay.
floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Daniel McCarthy, Director of Planning. As before the Budget Committee, looking for the approval for the expenditure of funds that we receive from the Department of Housing and Living Communities. This is an annual incentive bonus that we've been receiving for the past 11 years. For the past 8 years, this money has come back as capital improvement funds. For the last 4 years, we've been using these funds to finance the construction projects for Mass DOT. When we have projects that are on the Mass Transportation Improvement Plan, the state pays for the construction, and the city is responsible for what are called the soft costs. So we've been using those funds for that. This year's incentive funds is an amount of $519,000. We received this money for participating in what's called the 40R program, which is the city has created several smart growth overlay districts, and we design a ordinance to permit these projects, and we get a $3,000 grant for every unit of housing that we produce through this program. So in this case, the funding is for 2 major programs that we permitted over the last year that have finally come to completion. One of those is the stone mill at 15 Union Street, and the other project was, I believe it was the Trinity project. The Mariner Mill project at 608 Broadway, that's by Trinity Corporation. So that's a multifamily project that was built in the, at 608 Broadway in the mill, in the Arlington Mills Overlay District. So one of these is in the downtown district, one of these is in the Arlington Mills. So that's where the funding's coming from. And again, there's no matches for this. The money is an incentive bonus that goes to the city to use as we see fit for capital improvement projects. Does not go into general funds, but we have to use it in this manner. So that's the purpose of this.
Thank you. Councilors, actually, can I have a motion for this so we can continue the discussion?
To
discussion or?
motion to approve the item 15825.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded. Discussion on this item. Councilor LaPlante.
Through you, Madam Chair. So Stone Mill was, let me say I understand this correctly. If we build the housing, if there's more housing built in the city, one of the ancillary benefits is that we would get money per unit. Did I understand that correctly? There was a dollar amount affixed to each unit?
That's correct.
That's correct. So the units have already been built. So this is no incentive for more growth. This is essentially a check for the growth that already exists. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's correct. The bonus becomes valid when occupancy permits are issued. So you'll see an affidavit from the building commissioner when he issued the occupancy permits. But these projects have been under construction for several years.
So since the projects have been built, how much money will the grants be? If you said it, if you could repeat it again, how much money are we going to get per unit at each of these facilities in aggregate total?
I think we're getting 300. The numbers are in there. It's a little over $300,000 for each project. The total is 519. We're getting $261,000 for the Mariner Mill project, and we're getting $258,000 for the Stone Mill project. So we have $3,000 for each unit of housing in those.
$3,000 for each unit of housing. I have a hard time hearing this.
Correct.
It's me. Okay, so that's yes. So doing the quick math there, it's over $500,000. 261 plus 258 is what? 539? 529?
Yep. So
Am I
one had
close?
one of them had 87 units, and one had 86 units. So the math adds up to the numbers I just told you.
Right, so I'm just doing the math of 261 plus 258. I came up with a very quick 529, excuse me. $529,000.
Correct.
So if we vote yes for this evening, the Commonwealth will send us a check for $529,000 that will be deposited for monies that we could use for capital improvement projects.
Correct.
Is that understandable? All right, so to me, this is fine, right? You know how I stand about housing. What I don't want is to be this is weird because I'm not in favor of of having this kind of growth without us being smart about managing the growth we already have, and we're just going to go into all this new growth without proper management. I'm going to say this is already been. I'm going to say the damage, but that's not true. We've already been past this now, so the people are living there. So if we vote no, we're not going to get 569 that could go to a project, a park, or some improvements or something that's in our city. So, oddly, I'll be supporting this tonight. But what I don't like about it is thinking that, yes, if we have more growth in the city, we can get some more money from it. That, to me, is a very twisted logic that I can't support. But in the way that it's presented this evening, I don't think I can oppose this. So I just want the record. Everything that I say is on the record, but I want to reflect that. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Do we have Councilor Del Rosario? I know one of the locations is in your district. Do you have any questions or comments for Director McCarthy?
Not at this time.
Thank you. All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to approve this item?
Councilor Levy. Councilor Levy. Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Council Vice President.
Yes.
Perfect.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Someone let the council president know that he can come back.
All right, let's go on top of the agenda now. We can go back to public hearings.
Is 43, Council President, is 4325 still something that needs to be brought up this evening? 4325?
That's correct.
So let's get him out of here. Yeah.
On your places, you have a document.
Yes. All right, we got item 4325, which is the authorization to spend $132,000 from housing choice grant from the EOHLC planning grant from a grant transportation center and Merrimack Street corridor. So, councilors, can I get a motion to untable this matter?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion to untable these, properly second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes. Yes. Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario. It looks like Councilor Del Rosario is gone, and if he is, we can start with the roll call. Councilor Del Rosario is noted as absent. Councilor Luzon. Yes. Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President.
Yes.
Council President.
I vote yes.
Perfect.
I vote yes. Mr. McCarthy, can you explain a little bit about this grant?
Okay, thank you again. The document before you is document 4325. The city was the recipient of a smart growth a housing choice planning grant in the sum of $132,000, which we applied for in the 2024 year. The purpose of doing this is to conduct a planning exercise, review, and potential draft of a new overlay district around the McGovern Transportation Center. The idea was to combine the principles of smart growth along with transit-orientated development, which is based upon public transportation. The McGovern Center, as we all know, is the center for our train station. It's also the center for the bus public transportation hub. And the idea is to do a review of the Merrimack corridor and the properties outside of that along Market Street to come up with a overlay district for potential smart growth development around the train station. Again, this is a planning grant, and it's some $132,000. In your packages, there was a breakdown of what the money was going for. And essentially, the bulk of the money is going to be going towards consultants. We'll be hiring engineering, the planning offices, and engineers as well. Engineers, architects, and community planners to assist us with this program. So we currently have 3 overlay districts in the city right now. There's the Reviviendo overlay district, there's a downtown smart growth district, and there's the Arlington Mills district. So this would be the 4th one in the city. Only of those 3, only 2 of them are actually what are considered smart growth ones. We would, again, for development within this district, we would get the same benefits in the bonus overlays, but it would also allow us to develop these with principles based upon, historic development, landscaping, design, and projects and inputs such as that, trying to create a village of sorts around the train station. Right now, and I think a lot of us recognize that around the Merrimack corridor, it's very industrial. It's in tough shape. There's a lot of abandoned mill space and brownfields, things of that nature. The city would like to see that redeveloped in the future into mixed use, commercial developments, a commercial corridor, recreation, and of course housing. So that's the goal of this project. But again, this is a planning grant, and it's going to be overseen by the Office of Planning and Development, and we'll all be participating in it, and there'll be public hearings, and we'll be asking the public to participate in this as well.
Just to bring some clarity and potentially some confusion, the city have already approved the MBTA community plan. Is this grant is going to develop that MBTA communities overlay area that we have discussed in the past? This grant going to be used for that, or this is something else?
So,
can you clarify that?
So if at the end of this planning process, we hope to have an overlay district for the full Merrimack corridor, which would be much more detailed and more progressive and better suited for the city. What we did in adopting the MBTA communities last year was we did the minimum of what the state required, because we were one of the communities that was impacted mostly because we have a train station in the city. We were required to adopt that ordinance within the first year, whereas this grant was a 3-year grant, and we're into the 2nd year of that right now. So we want to move forward, but to qualify for that, these usually take 6 to 9 months to do, and we realized that we were in a position that we needed to adopt the MBTA Communities Grant, and we did that by adopting the smallest parcel of land that qualified us.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this matter? This is an authorization to spend $132,000 for this overlay design. Councilor LaPlante.
One thing I'm not hearing at all, and is parking. This is a street, Merrimack Street, which I get, it's a challenge to deal with the parking there between the businesses and the residents and customers coming in for businesses and people living in historic homes, I mean the legacy homes that have been there for a number of years compared to the new growth that's going on with folks living in the Riverwalk complex, for example. So there's not enough parking. I'm hopeful. I can't create parking. We don't have the ability to create more land. All we can do is regulate the land, but we can't create it. We need more land for people to park. We can't do it. So I don't know how I'm voting on this. I got significant, for me anyway, challenges when we're looking, again, the state is forcing us to try to find more housing. This is another carrot to try to find more housing. And I'm tired of eating carrots. Mm-hmm. It's over, right? We need to start working on dealing with our current population, our current folks, make sure that their quality of life is good as opposed to bringing in more and more units. But if we are voting for this tonight, I just want to make sure that you hear from me that represents that area loud and clear that parking is a major issue that needs to be addressed, and I don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we recognize that as part of this development. Going into this, we knew the administration was strongly stating that we don't want this to be an all-residential type of project. What we want to do is develop mixed use, and that includes parking, so that every project that comes before us is going to be required to have parking, not just for the residents who live there, but for the businesses that are going to be there and the customers who come and go to those projects. You know, we like to see restaurants, we like to see stores that serve the population in the city. So the parking situation is going to be a key component of that.
I don't want my point to be missed through you, Council President. My point should not be missed. My point is this: there are current people who are living are living on the street, who are living in multi-unit family housing that's on the street. They're being pushed out. They're being pushed out because of the businesses. They're being pushed out because customers are coming in. They're being pushed out because now across the street from them, they have a major complex that, yeah, there's some parking, but oftentimes they have to park on the street. There is not enough parking. I want to be absolutely clear on this. There's not enough parking on Merrimack Street, and I'm being as emphatic as I can. I'm raising my voice for a reason. We have to figure out a way to deal with this, to deal with parking on that street. It's a nightmare, and I'm getting lots of phone calls from folks who are more frustrated than I am right now, and we got to find an answer. I don't have it, and I'm looking for help on this. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. When this item was before the Budget and Finance Committee, I want to thank my colleague and as the district councilor of that area for making these points, because these points were also made throughout the Budget and Finance presentation. And a few things that I called out was, one, there was an emphasis on generating outside interest. And I did speak about taking care of our people here first. The second thing that I brought up was market rate. I asked if these developments would be affordable housing, a mix, or market rate. In the response that I got, that it would be market rate, which our issue right now pertaining to housing, our major issue is that people can't afford to live here. Yeah. That could have changed since then. And I'm seeing that you have a response, so that could have changed since then. And another thing, the whole industrial aspect of it, that was presented to the Budget and Finance Committee in a negative way. And I clearly remember stating that the industrial era is the reason why our city was even created, is the reason why we're here today. So those are the 3 points that I made. I was frustrated during the Budget and Finance Committee presentation. I'm still not agreeing with this today, and I will not be supporting this item tonight.
Right, item 4325. Any other questions around this item?
Through you, Council President.
Councilor Luzon.
And thank you to Madam Chair to bringing those points to the table. I want to know what will be the process? You guys are planning to do community meetings to inform the residents, the business owners in their area? What will be the process to get to the point that you are proposing?
Yep, so again, this is a planning grant, so that's one of the requirements is that we conduct several public hearings, we set up committees to look at things such as recreation, transportation, travel between different aspects of the area. All that goes into the design criteria. So right now, there's large portions of this are going to be developed by individual developers. We want to come up with a plan to tell the developers what the city would like to see there, that we don't want this to be dictated by several deep-pocketed landowners, but we want the city and the community and the residents to have input and provide feedback on how they want to see this district look. This has to reflect the needs for the city and for the community. You know, if we're looking at at the current way it's going now, one or two large property owners will dictate what's built down there, and that's not what the city wants.
And I remember asking in that meeting who are the outboarders in that project, who owns the land surrounding the project. Do we have that information tonight?
I did an inventory of the properties that were involved, so, and again, we were thinking more just around the train station, but this district goes all the way to South Broadway. There's a total of 84 properties. I do have a list that I can provide you, but there's 84 properties that will be impacted. It includes large mill buildings and includes small residential houses that are doing it. So is a whole wide mix of property owners and people who live in this district that can participate.
Through you, Council President, some of the projects that we will see from the LRA are in that area. I think they are, some of the projects. Is that correct?
At least two of them are.
Two of them. What, do you remember which ones?
I think there was one at 55 South Canal Street, which is a property owned by the city. That's in between Simpson's Brothers and New Balance, in that area there, on the river. And the other one is Merrimack Paper that we're all familiar with.
And through you, Council President, so after the meetings that you're planning to hold with the community, with the residents and the business owners, is this item is coming back to us?
Well,
Council President?
No, we are authorizing the community, the planning director to spend that amount of dollars doing the planning section of the overlay area.
Right.
So they're gonna eventually, once they finish up with the overlaid area, they will come up to the full council for seeking for the approval of that overlay area.
Yeah, any changes would be adoption of a change in the ordinance, and that would have to come to city council for approval.
So essentially, is planning around what that might look like. That's what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the different scenarios, let's say perhaps that we use this grant for the planning, and then you're gonna have multiple scenarios as to how they're gonna look like.
Correct.
And let's say perhaps that we don't use this grant to do this, that everything is gonna stay as is, and we're not gonna be able to mandate any landowner what are the restrictions that they can use the land for, except for the fact that they are under a specific zone as of right now.
That's correct. Right now, there's two underlying zoning districts. One is the general industrial, and the other one's an I-4, which is an industrial district that was created by the past administration, and that's like a smart energy type of zoning district. The overlay will create a planning concept, a scheme of how we would do it. Certain basic requirements are in that. One of the state requirements is that at a minimum, the developer has to provide 20% affordable housing. You'll see that a lot of these projects will go more than that. For instance, the two projects that we approved tonight were both 100% affordable. Those are done through an overlay district. So it's up to the developer to choose it. They must do 20%, but they can do up to 100% affordable.
Yeah, because,
Yep, go ahead.
got it. So it's a planning, they're gonna use this money to plan.
Yep.
And then eventually they're gonna, any type of changes, they need to be
Right.
approved by the council.
And again, if the community and this council is not satisfied with the plan, we won't adopt it. It's as simple as that. But again, this is money that was given to the city. If we don't use it for this study, then we'll just be giving the money back.
Right? Any other questions, councilors?
Council President.
Councilor Levy?
So, what is going to happen if we don't approve it tonight and we have to return the money again? What happens?
If.
This is a grant.
Yeah, if it's not, if you don't approve the expenditure of those funds, they'll go back to the Department of Housing.
There is a deadline for us to spend the money?
Is that what?
Are they waiting for us to spend the money?
Yes.
So they are
Yes.
waiting for us to spend the
Yes.
money. Otherwise, they go back to the state.
How sooner?
Hmm?
How sooner?
Well, if you deny it, it'll go back. We'd probably
No, just
contact
tell
them.
us when is the
Oh,
deadline.
we have another year on the grant.
Another year.
So we have it another year.
Yeah.
Another year
Through-
to spend the
through-
money,
through-
not to necessarily
through
make a
June-
determination,
yeah.
right?
Through June 30th of 2026.
That's the time to spend the money.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Council President, if I
Councilor
may.
Lozon.
I know that Mr. McCarthy has a state and he's dealing with so many projects at once, but something, and for the record, once again, I would respectfully ask to please send us the information about any community meetings, in person or via Zoom, because it's important for the people that we represent to be there. And I know that sometimes it's hard for community development to do the advertisement, to promote this type of meeting. But us as a councilors, I think we're willing to help in that end. So you mentioned that this project is going to have community meetings. So we want to see it, if it gets approved by this council, I would like to see it with plenty of time so we can distribute and give the opportunity to the business owners and the residents to participate. Because having an empty meeting is not,
No, absolutely.
it's not good for the city.
We will do these meetings in person, and they'll be, we'll be well advertised. We want to get as much turnout as possible, especially from the residents of that neighborhood.
Just for the record, through you, Council President,
Councilor Lozon.
please send us flyers, the proper information so we can share, because I know there's a lot of concerns about parking and other issues, and at least we need to give the opportunity for the residents to participate. Thank you, Council President.
No problem. So we can always make this as a requirement for the grant while they spend it. We can make a motion to send, we can make a motion to make proper notification to the council as part of their authorization to spend this money. So we can make that as a motion. We can definitely do that. I entertain. If you
Absolutely.
guys entertain it, that's in order.
Motion to approve?
Second.
There's a motion to approve, probably second. That was a previous motion. And now the motion to make that as a requirement? Yeah, okay. There's a motion to make notification to be sent to the council as part of the requirement to spend this grant. There is a motion made by Councilor Reyes, second by Councilor Luzon. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
So this is a standalone amendment?
Yes, a standalone amendment. Yeah. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Now let's go to the main motion, which is to approve. Any other questions on the approval? I hear none. Madam, all those in favor, please say aye.
No. Aye.
No.
Any nays?
No.
No.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
No.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario is noted as absent. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
No.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. What's the count?
5 yes, so passes.
Motion carries.
2 noes, 2
Congratulations.
absent.
Thank you, councilors. Thank you.
Documents 425, 23, and 80-25. Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 6, 2025, at 7 o'clock p.m. in the council chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 as extended, and in accordance with recently revised City Council Rule 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation in person and remotely to accommodate participants with health considerations that prevent in-person participation. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking, in the proper alphabetical order. Document number 425-23, Exchange Street, East Side, from a point 283 feet south of Park Street to a point 303 feet south of Park Street. And document 80-25, Basswood Street, East Side, from a point 30 feet north of Alder Street to a point 50 feet north of Alder Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Hearing none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's the motion?
Second.
Let's go by item 94523. Motion to approve that specific item first. There is a motion on the table, properly second by Councilor Vice President Infante. Discussion on item 42523. Again, none. All those in favor, please say aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 8025. Again, a motion to approve that. A motion for that item. There's a motion to approve for item 8025. Handicap parking at Boswell Street, adjacent to 23 Alder Street. Properly second. Discussion. Again, none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Please read the notice of the public hearing for item 3425, 3525, 3625, and 12625. There's a motion to waive the preamble.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. Again, none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Please proceed.
The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by deleting the following subparagraphs of Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, in the proper alphabetical order. Document 34-25, Bigelow Street, North Side, from a point 135 feet westerly of the intersection of Carlton Street to a point 155 feet westerly of the intersection of Carlton Street. Document number 35-25 is East Haverhill Street, East Side, from a point 50 feet north of Elm Street to a point 70 feet north of Elm Street. Document number 36-25, Farnham Street, South Side, from a point 85 feet easterly of the intersection of Parker Street to a point 105 feet easterly of the intersection of Parker Street. And document number 12625, Lexington Street, West Side, from a point 135 feet northwest of Buswell Street to a point 155 feet northwest of Buswell Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Public hearing is now closed. I'll entertain a motion for item 3475.
Second.
There is a motion to approve item 3525, which is the removal of handicap parking of 39 East River Street. Properly second. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 3625, the removal of handicap parking for 67 Farnham Street. There's a motion to approve. Properly second. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 12625, removal of handicap parking of 108 Lexington Street. Can you hear a motion? There's a motion to approve. Properly second. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Community report, budget and finance, housing. There is no report from housing. Ordinance committee, that is done. Personnel committee is done. Public safety committee, there is no report. Economic development, there is no report. Committee of the whole, there is no report. All businesses, that's done. Any table matters? Any table matters? All right, we're going to new business. New business 16424, fiscal year of 20, that's 16424 already was sent to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 16525, authorization to spend $120,000 pay off housing and stabilization funds, neighborhood restoration initiative loan. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 16625, transfer of $1,281,354 from retaining earnings to fund of GLSD fiscal year 2025 assessment. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 16725, transfer of $782,000 from free cash to the fire overtime account. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 16825, authorization to spend $173,166 from the community competitive grant for upgrade the Lawrence High School. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 16925, the submission of the annual audit report to the City Council fiscal year 2024 report. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 17025, disposition of real estate property of 389 Water Street, tax map 206, lot 22. This is going to the Housing Committee. Item 17125, declaration of surplus of Marshall Street, tax map 33, lot 17-2. This is going to the Housing Committee. Item 17225, grant of utility easement to Eversource Gas Company for the installation of the utility infrastructure of on 19 Hoffman Street, AKC Marshall Street. This is going to Housing Committee. Item 17325, acceptance of the easement from Whitemore Company to Glen Street Associate to the City of Lawrence for the operation of freight rail line to the Lawrence Industrial Park. This is going to the Housing Committee. Item 17425, approval of changing of polling locations for present B4. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 17525, approval of changing of polling location for C3, present C3. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 7625, creation of new ordinance, American with Disability Program Administrator. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 17725, fill a position vacant for more than 6 months for Municipal Hearing Officer of Special Services Department. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 17825, fill a position vacant for more than 6 months. Neighborhood Planner. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 17925, disclosure of conflict by municipal employee. Angelis Bisonneau. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18025, naming of the Lawrence Rail Trail in honor of State Representative, Second Assistant Majority Leader from Moran. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18125, Impact Lawrence Companion Common, June 7th, 2025. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18325, Bohemia Sunset Waterhouse Park, June 19 to September 12, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18425, Evangelist Outreach at the Companion Common, June 8, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18525, handicap parking on 136 Davis Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18625, handicap parking 114 Summer Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18725, handicap parking at 31 Sergeant Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 18825, handicap parking at 23 Summit Avenue. Ordinance Committee. Item 18925, handicap parking at 45 Bennington Street. Ordinance Committee. Item 19025, handicap parking at 25 Woodland Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19225, removal of handicap parking 71 Elm Street. Ordinance Committee. Item 19325, removal of handicap parking 3 Dashford Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19425, removal of handicap parking 23 North Burlington Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19525, loading zone 377 Access Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19625, no parking on 96 to 100 Railroad Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 9725, childcare parking at 129 Tremont Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19825, childcare parking at 411 High Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 19925, appointment of Irwin Mata to the Zoning Board of Appeals. That's going to the Personnel Committee. Item 225, 30-minute parking on Exeter Street between Winter Street and Oxford Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Committee meetings. Schedules. Ordinance.
May 13th, 7 p.m.
You got it? Personnel. May 12th. 6. Housing, Wednesday, the following Wednesday, is the 13th.
Wednesday,
The 13th. Housing. It's the Wednesday, the 14th, May 14th at 7.
I won't be able to make it that night.
Do the 13th at 6?
Yeah, I mean, the chair actually request that date to see if it was possible. Just one item. I mean, it doesn't Wednesday? No,
They're the same members.
but I mean, the chair actually requested 13
For housing?
for the housing. But I mean, the thing is, she requested on Wednesday. She can change it later. And the 13th. I mean, the Wednesday. She can change it. I mean, you guys can check to see if that's possible to do it on Tuesday. Housing. I mean, housing. I'm sorry. Safety. There's no item for safety. And there is no other items on other committees, so we can.
Budget and Finance will be Wednesday, the 14th at 7. And tomorrow, the council.
That's housing. So we can do
Why is
housing at
housing
at 6:30.
The 14th at 7, housing is at 6.
No, they say 7, but I mean, they can do
That's always
6:30.
budget and finance.
Yeah, 6:30 for housing and 7 for budget and finance.
Perfect. And then tomorrow, counselors, you'll be receiving from me the schedule for the budget hearings.
Yeah, you wanna meet with Ramona for that?
Mr. President, before we adjourn, I want to say thank you for, some constituent gave me the flowers. My birthday was the 24th.
If you have to, I can take one.
Can I just read those back because I don't feel confident about the dates we just said?
What the dates?
Yeah, you have ordinance on Tuesday,
Through
May
you,
13th at 7
Councilor
p.m.
President.
And then we have
Budget
housing
and Finance on Wednesday, May 14th at 7 p.m.
at 7.
I've got Personnel on Monday,
Motion
May
passed.
12th.
May 12th at 6 p.m.
Second.
Housing at,
There's a motion past 10, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. You may continue.
Housing on May 14th at 6:30.
Yes,
Okay.
you got it. And the rest of them, if it is any other items, they will contact you to schedule. All right, councilors, at this point, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Happy birthday. Yeah, thank you.